okay, enough. You're eating into my time. It's Friday, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's on Fox and Friends first, but in our hearts, he's dead last. Co-host of Fox and Friends first, Todd Pyro. As a former Miss Universe judge, she's no stranger to inept hosts. Host of the Hoop Chat, Emily Austin. He gets his fashion advice from John Fetterman. Founder of the LoftusParty.com, Michael Loftus. And finally, he's like a Humvee, large, powerful, and capable of carrying Arnold Schwarzenegger. New York Times best-selling author, comedian, and former NWA champion. Yeah. All right, okay. Before we get to some news stories, let's do this.
Greg's Leftovers.
I don't like my collar, but it's too late to turn back. It makes my head look tiny. Look at little Greg's tiny head resting on the collar.
Looks smug.
Yeah, I know. It's really funny, actually. It's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week. And as always, it's my first time reading these, so if they suck, we'll rip off Joe Mackey's nipples and use them to make pepperoni pizza. According to a new study, the cost of raising a child to age 18 is nearly $250,000, and that's just to cover the cost of cocaine. By the way, Hunter is suing the IRS for violating his privacy because if there's one thing we all know about Hunter Biden, there's nothing he values more than privacy. This week, hundreds of people who identify as dogs gathered in the center of Berlin, that's Germany. They dressed as a variety of canines, including a few French poodles, who immediately rolled over for the German shepherds. When the German shepherd was asked if he had 8 or 10 nipples, one replied 9.
Oh, my God.
The delivery saved it.
Yeah.
The delivery saved
it. That's my talent. Critics of The Gathering asked what kind of weirdo becomes an animal that's always sniffing things? President. In an unhinged rant, Ukraine transgender spokesperson Sarah Ashton Cirillo said Vlad Putin bathes in the blood of innocent children and enjoys it. That's nonsense. There's only one person who bathes in children's blood, and she does it on the advice of her doctor. A new study found that the average person's home is completely clean less than 2 weeks a year. However, this study may be irrelevant for people that don't even own a home. I like this. I like it when we do that. Lauren Boebert made news this week for apparently groping her date during a theater show. Hell, we should have sent Boebert to look for that missing F-35. She's great at finding junk in the dark. Boebert apologized for her behavior, which Dems said was unacceptable and should only be tolerated in the Oval Office. This week, Pope Francis urged global action to combat climate change at the Clinton Global Initiative meeting. This from the Vatican, who sends black smoke into the air for weeks to tell us they haven't picked a pope yet. Little religious humor there. Apparently very little. The 5 American hostages who were released from Iran arrived in our nation's capital this week. Once they arrived in Washington, D.C., all 5 said they felt much safer back in Iran. Cereal sales in the United States are in sharp decline. The situation is so dire, Snap, Crackle, and Pop were last seen in the streets of San Francisco. Yeah. And no, that's not Count Chocula on the ground. The Army and Navy are failing to meet recruiting goals because many potential recruits are disqualified due to obesity. On the bright side, though, many go on to find jobs in broadcasting. A recent op-ed discussed the impact on fathers in relation to the male loneliness epidemic. But the article did say that in some cases, some men will be lonely forever.
Oh, come on. Saw that one coming as always. I embrace loneliness.
Taylor Swift's Instagram account has helped register more than 35,000 new voters. It's nice that she's still on good terms with all her ex-boyfriends. This week, Joy Behar called presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy dumb. That's like Vivek Ramaswamy calling Joy Behar hot. It's also the latest evidence that the only reason to watch The View is to hear Whoopi Goldberg fart. And finally, Chuck Schumer has relaxed the Senate dress code so John Fetterman can wear whatever he wants. It's a sad day, I know. I mean, even Fetterman's dad managed to put on a suit jacket.
What did Frankenstein do?
Now to the news. Karine can't run faster from the immigration disaster. But if you think they've secured the border, then you got a serious mental disorder. As tens of thousands of illegal immigrants pour into the United States every day, the White House turns a blind eye. And in old Joe's case, 2 squinty ones and a drooling lip. 10,000 people alone crossed the border on Wednesday. It's almost as if they're being encouraged. But Karine Jean-Pierre could barely keep it together when asked how Biden will deal with it.
So what do you call it here at the White House when 10,000 people illegally cross the border in a single day?
So what do you call it, Peter, when GOP puts forth a wait, no, you can't.
Karine?
I'm answering. Okay, we're gonna move
You're
on.
answering
No,
the question with the question. Okay.
no, we're moving on.
Karine,
Moving.
please.
In the back.
Now, you said you were stopping the flow at the border.
No. I
10,000
tried to
migrants.
answer, Peter. I
Okay.
tried to answer the question. You stopped me. Let's go.
She tried to answer. So I guess we are moving on. Or so she had hoped.
Okay, we're gonna move
You're
on.
answering the question with the question. Okay.
No. We're moving on.
Who's talking to Venezuela about why these people are still coming? Who's talking to Panama about the Darien Gap and who's allowing them to come in?
Look, these diplomatic conversations are incredibly important. The president, let's not forget, just last fall brought 22 countries together to talk about how migration is affecting the region. This is a president that has taken historic action on an issue, on a system that has been broken for some time.
Oof. She's stupid. Never has someone said less with so many words. You know it's bad when even the folks from network news push back. CBS News hasn't shocked us like that since Charlie Rose let his bathrobe fall open. But good thing Joe put Kamala in charge of border security. If migrants ask her for directions, they'll end up walking to Antarctica. Does Joe care to add anything?
No. Look, Jean-Pierre's right. The border's not open. And even if it were, it'd be fine because all those people are going to vote for me. I got a lot of credibility with those people. And if you doubt that, just ask any one of them Chicanos on the Congressional Black Caucus. All right? They like me. If I could quote Dr. Martin Luther King, la 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 bamba. La 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 bamba, the thing on your finger.
All right. You know, everybody in America is upset about this situation. It's just beyond belief. But Michael, it must really drive you crazy as a homeless lesbian to see all of our city services going to migrants while you're out on the street searching for scraps.
It's horrible, Greg.
Yes.
And speaking for the homeless lesbian population,
Yeah.
thanks for having me in here.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you smell terribly, but we would you die out there.
I would.
Yes.
And for just $5 a day, America, if you donate. This is wild to watch the Karine Jean-Pierre Peter Doocy fight. It's almost like watching an old married couple fight, because you can't answer a question with a question. You know, it's like, so what does you call it at the administration? What do you call it? What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
I think the GOP should take the blame for the whole situation. And as part of that, they should open up welcome centers at the border where we take credit for all the giveaways, all the thousands of dollars, and encourage all these new wonderful Americans to vote conservative.
Yeah. I think that's a terrible idea.
That border would be shut tomorrow.
Oh, I
it's
see
like,
your little
oh, so you're
plan.
gonna, President Trump,
Yeah.
And, yeah.
This whole thing is driven by hatred for Trump. It's like Biden just can't do what Trump did. But to KJP or whatever her name is, It's like she believes her job is not to do the job, like to obfuscate. Is that a word?
Yes.
Okay, good. But she has a sense of entitlement, Emily, that, because she's a historic first, she doesn't have to do the job.
No, she does have a job. When she handed in her resume, it was quite clear the only quality trait they looked for is professional liar, because this woman has never spoken the truth once out of her mouth. I want to put a Pinocchio filter on her nose. Oh my goodness, and then the truth would be exposed. Oh, that rhymes. I just pulled a Greg.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
It's contagious, much like my infections. Sorry about that, Todd. I should have told you first. Yeah. But then, we wouldn't have had that wild weekend.
It's a hazard of trying to get on this show.
Hey,
Once a month, I do what I have to do.
For the infection as well. Well, it's more like once every 6 weeks, but who's counting these days? Todd, doesn't it feel like this whole thing is intentional? Because no one's actually trying to do anything.
And to your point, Democrats are against what's going on at the border. There are a lot of them, but nevertheless, this administration is going to do what they are going to do. And I love when KJP does two of the worst tells in history. Mm-hmm. We have been clear. Let me be clear. When she says we have been clear, they have been the exact opposite. And her latest that we heard in that clip is when she said, Joe Biden has done historic measures. Historically disastrous to our nation. And it's not really a joke because our nation is in real trouble. We do not know what these individuals are planning to do in our country. There are countless stories of Chinese military-aged men, not families coming over here looking for a better life, but people seeping across the border, coming into our country, and they have no idea where they are when they get here. Our national security is more and more at risk every day. And our country, I talked to a Navy SEAL, retired Navy SEAL, they're never Special Forces guy who then worked for the CIA. And he scared the bejesus out of me. He said, in the next 10 years, it's not a Fox News talking point. We will not recognize this country if this continues. And that should frighten every American, Republican, Democrat, no labels, regardless.
I told you not to talk to other men.
I didn't realize that was part of the month-long tryout to get on this show. I thought it was just the disease.
Tyrus, it's kind of clear. This was what's interesting, that actually Biden finally said that he's for this. It was like he'd said nothing, and now it's like, no, we're just going to take them all in. Who's running the country?
That's a wonderful question. I've said it several times in the show. Whoever's writing that notebook that she can't read from is running the show. They have to make the font bigger because whenever, and married couple, no, because that's not fair to married couples. He asks a question, and whenever a public official answers a question with a question, it's this new term that they love to use forever. It's called gaslighting. Remember, it was everything that was said in the other administration is gaslighting. Trump's gaslighting us. Well, they're just lighting us because we don't have gas because we shut down all the pipelines.
Yeah.
So,
they're solar lighting us.
But they can't even tell. It's the progressives. Democrats are in a bad marriage with these progressives and these equity hires because she's an equity hire, period. And she likes to tell how she's a walking history.
Yeah.
We would like you to walk out and be history because you are terrible. I don't have a problem with a different administration running their plan, but when their plan is, I don't know, what do you do? I know you are, but what am I? That's a problem. It's like, well, 4-year-old talking. Just admit it, because the Obama administration didn't have these problems at the border.
Yeah.
Trump's administration, they took Obama's stuff, took it up a notch, and we got to the point where we weren't having these issues. Just say, we open the gates.
Yeah.
We open the gates, we don't care, and that's it, because that's what they're doing. They're just, he's doing historic things. He likes to say, well, the MAGAs did this. MAGAs did this. MAGAs did this. Aren't you the same guy who shut down a whole pipeline with one swipe of your pen?
Yeah.
You couldn't take your pen, Mr. President, and say, finish the wall, move the National Guards over there, bring the military over there. You could do it like that, but you can't, because you won't.
It's true. I think it's all for a solid, precise goal to destabilize the country. That's scary to me.
That's why my welcome centers were going to work like brilliant.
Yes.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.